Hey everybody, I wanted to come back on here and do another tutorial for you guys. This has already been done. There's several videos out there. Paula Foerder, I think, started this madness, so thank you, Paula. And I'll put a link to her channel. I don't know her, but I think this is where Jessica Rapp found the idea for the paperclip charms. And then I've had one or two subbies ask me to show them how I did mine. So I hope this is not overkill what you're seeing right here. I just kind of wanted to get some things laid out to show you how kind of my process of what I do. So you're gonna need some scrap fabrics, and this is another way to use up scraps. I'm gonna try to do like quite a few videos on different ways of using up scrap fabric, scrap paper, stuff like that. Just for fun, because you know I'm trying to use some of my stuff up, and these are really fun and they turn out really cute, and I've made quite a few of them. So and this is another project, just like most of the things that we do in this creative community, that you can take your own spin on it. You can use small paper clips. You can use the big jumbo paper clips. You can tie or wrap or, you know, hang anything you want from them. You know, the possibilities are endless. So these are just a few of the ones that I recently did. And really, most of this stuff is just stuff I had in my stash. I like to buy old boxes of junk jewelry. I do buy charms sometimes if I really like them when they're on sale at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. So the turtles I actually purchased, you know, and some of the buttons and stuff too, but minimal, you know, minimal expense for these kind of things. This is a way to really use up little bits and pieces of things. Like on this one, this came from an old earring that I had that I loved, and they kind of started breaking, so I just, you know, don't wear them anymore. The rusty paper clip, and then some charms and a button, you know. I love this little bee. And you can hang these, you know, on the sides of your books. You can hang them from tags. You can, you know, just whatever you want to do. I'm not going to sit here and show you all these. I'm just trying to show you some possibilities and what I use. This is another little piece of a broken earring, you know, and little charms, Tim Holtz charms. Anyway, and then you can make this kind of paper clip too. I was just playing around, so I just took some fabric and wrapped it on the paper clip and wrapped it with some twine, and took a little bulb pin and stuck like a little snap and a little button on it. And that's another thing you can do. Take you a long time to use up scraps doing those, because that's just a little bit of fabric there. But anyway, so you get the idea. So what I do, and this is a scrappy piece of that quilt, and you can see it's pretty tattered. Doesn't matter, because you're going to take it and just cut a strip. Now, if you want it to cover, you know, kind of measure, you know, how wide you want it. If you want it just to cover, you know, a little bit of the clip, if you want to cover the whole thing and you want to leave a little bit of space, you know, so just whatever you want to do. And then I'm going to attempt to tear this without it. Hopefully it won't just tear all apart. And you really don't need that much of it. So, and I'm sorry, I got stuff all around me, so I could, if I had a random thought to try something else, I'd have a bunch of stuff around me. So I just come up underneath the larger side, you know, this side of the paper clip, not this end where it opens, okay? Hope you can see me, but this side. And this really doesn't matter if you put enough glue on it, but you want it to kind of, no, this is going to tear apart. So you just kind of fold it over the paper clip like that. You see that? And then I just wrap it. And I don't care if it's perfect. I love the little frayed stuff, you know. I try to look at what I want showing. So like I really kind of like that right there showing. Okay, think about what you want showing. So I'm going to cut this little piece off because I don't need that much. And I'm going to try to stand frame. And then I'm going to take my fabric glue, which of course I didn't open. Now this is what I use, and I've gotten to where I just about use this glue, you know, for a lot of things. And it will get goopy up here, so to wipe that off. And did I bring a napkin out here? No. Because it just works. It just works really well. So it's a little fiddly. All right, so I want it glued there. So I'm gonna take my glue. Oh, that's way too much. Pay attention to what you're doing. Okay. And then just kind of get it where you want it, and it does not have to be. This is not about perfection, okay? Do you see? And then just set it aside and let it dry. You let it dry a few minutes. Where's the lid? Okay, now I've got sticky fingers. Hold on a second. So, like, if you're, for me, like when I have my scraps out, and now I'm gonna stick to everything. I put too big a glop of glue. So be careful when you're doing that, because then this stuff really sticks to your fingers. So when I have my scraps out, and when I was making those flowers, all I did was I just took little pieces and I just went ahead and I just wrapped a bunch of paper clips. So you can just do this kind of streamline. So just wrap a whole bunch of them, and then get out your, you know, your things that you want to put on them. So what I did is I already kind of pulled some things that I wanted to maybe put on. Where's the one I had out here? I had one out here. Oh, geez. Okay. I'll do this one. I don't think that's the one I had. No, here it is. Yep, this was the one I had out here I was going to try. So what I did was I look at my fabric and then I pull out what I think I want to put on there, you know. I have a little tray right here where I've gone through and pulled things from my stash that I want to use. And it's actually the lid to these jump rings. So I have those sitting there. And these work pretty good, but you have to really make sure that you get those tight on there. They bend pretty easily. I prefer the smaller ones, but this works when you're using buttons. These work really well when you're trying to put buttons on. But I just put me a bunch of little things together, and I actually took apart, you know, some jewelry the other night when I was doing this, and things that I might want to use, and just set it, you know, set it here. And so I picked out a few things I want to put on here. And I was thinking about this really big. Now, you don't have to put big things. It depends on what you want. But I love these big. They're almost like crystals. And I think it was in an old, like old jewelry little box that I bought from my favorite little antique store. And I just did some wire wrapping, just, you know, around it so I could attach it. So I was thinking about that. But I also like these other things too. And now, I'm a color person, so I do try to make things kind of cohesive color-wise. And sometimes that trips me up, because if you think too much, you know, don't think too much about it, because these are just supposed to be fun and sort of random. But I do like them to, you know, kind of go together, so to speak. But I don't mind mixing metals. I like mixing metals, so like I made some of these beads, so I'll mix the silver with the rusty. That does not bother me, or the copper, you know, with the silver. But to me, like, this is a little more feminine. I hope I'm making sense. And I don't want to make this video like an hour long, but I kind of want you to understand my process. So like this stripe fabric to me seems a little more masculine. So I love this right here, and it just looks more feminine and sort of older. So I'm going to pair that with something that's a little more kind of floral looking. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you. Like I did the turtle ones. So I used some of the Cantha fabric with the turtle because it's just got more of a kind of masculine look. So anyway, enough of that rambling. But I just pulled out a few things. So I think on this one I like these two together. And I like this black kind of contrast. So I think that's what I'm gonna put on here. So you know, you need you some scraps and you need some paper clips. And I bought this little tool set at Michael's that has like the this is a wire cutter, and then these are called flat nose pliers, and then these are round nose pliers, I believe is what they call them. And this is what you can twist when you're doing the wire wrapping. This is what you twist the wire with. But you really kind of need these. You can buy a set of these. I think I bought the set and it came in a bin, and on the other side it had little spots for you to put beads and things in, and I think it was like 10 bucks. So you can get these pretty cheap, or you can, you know, go buy it. You can spend more, but that's just what I use. And when I'm taking bigger jewelry pieces apart, I just have a standard set of you know, cutters. I don't know if they call these, yeah, they're wire cutters, but not strippers, because, you know, like a wire stripper will have a hole in here. Anyway, I'm probably not using the technical term, but you get the idea. So, you need some little jump rings. And these are pretty inexpensive, too. You can buy mixed. I have a bunch of things mixed in here. You could use, I don't ever really use these, but you could use these little hooks too. So if you want to take these little hooks, like the little jewelry hooks, you know, for necklaces and bracelets and stuff. If you wanted to hook that on here too, and then you can attach it in another way to a journal. You can use those, and there's bigger ones, different sizes of those too. You know, I do all this stuff for fun. I'm not a professional in any of this, so if there are jewelry makers or anybody out there, don't jump on me about any of this stuff. I'm just playing. So, all right, so I'm going to take, and I do know that when you do this, when you take these apart, when you do these jump rings, you need to pull them apart like that, okay? Like that. Do not pull them apart like this. When you pull that, if you pull it apart that way, you know, and pull it, it compromises this wire. It compromises this wire, and it makes it softer. So I do know that. So don't do that. So I'm gonna hook this to my little bead, and then we'll come down here and hook it to the bottom, and then I'm just gonna, I don't have a real steady hand in it, and I'm gonna close that back up. Okay, so that's that little piece. And then for the buttons, I think I'm gonna use this button. Now this one came off of a vintage button, so I don't know if you can see, but it's got the little wire. It still has that little wire piece in it. I'm gonna leave that in there because it's still attached all the way around. And I'm gonna get one of these. You know, I don't care that it's in there. It's not going anywhere. And the same thing with these larger. Helps when you have somebody who can see. Now these you can just kind of pull apart. Okay. And I'm gonna put this around this button. And then I'm gonna hook it here. And think about how you want to hang it and which side you want it on. You know, I don't guess it really matters, but I do that, and then you just pull this back. These are soft enough that you can do that with your hand. Just make sure you get it closed. So now you've got those on the bottom. Okay. See that? So then on the top, I want to put this piece on here, and this is a piece from a broken necklace that I took apart. You know, it was all linked. There was several of these linked together. So this is another thing you look for when you're looking at old jewelry and stuff. If you find pieces that are, you know, part of it's broken, but there's still a bunch of these links, you can take these apart and use them just like a bead. So I do that a lot. And it's just really, it's neat to me because it's going to make your little pieces really unique, you know. So I'm gonna, let's see, I don't know if I want to use silver on that. No, I don't. Oh, I don't have surgeon hands for sure. Okay. These are a little tougher. These are some pretty good gem rings here. I am not a professional. And of course, trying to do this on camera, it's never as easy. I can't get hold of this sucker. Okay, so don't say ugly words like I do sometimes. All right, and just put that on there, and then just come up here and hook it on your. This little guy is giving me a hard time. All right, there we go. Okay. So now you have a little paperclip charm. And you can go even further, like if you want to wrap some other things around this. Now, on a lot of these, I didn't. I kind of like them just like this. Or maybe when I go to put them on something, I might want to add a little something. But for here, you can take another piece of fabric. Like say you want something with a little more color in it, or you want to add another layer. I'm looking at my scraps here. Hang on. Like that. Okay, so I have this little piece, okay? So I could take this. Let's hope it tears. Yeah. Sorry for those people who do not like the tearing of the fabric. And you could take this and add another little element to it and wrap this around and tie it. Keep going out of frame. Tie this on here. And just cut this off. And then that just gives it a little more interest. You can take it a step further from that if you really like to add a whole lot of stuff to it. And you can just keep adding. You can add as much things to this, you know, as many little things to this as you want to. This is just kind of my process. But you could take it another step and take, here we go, here's my little bulb pen. Take a bulb pen and, you know, add something else to it, or a little safety pin. Like I've got some little safety pins somewhere. I think they're down in my bucket, so I won't drag those out. But like, here's a little snap. So you could take a little snap or another little charm or something and hook it through here. I'll get a bigger piece of that. I promise you this works better if you're not trying to do a video. And then, you know, you got another little thing to it. So, you know, the possibilities are endless. So you can do the paper clips like that, you know, like this. I've got some other things too. Like I put a bunch of these little beads together. And these are just pretty inexpensive little beads that I wire wrapped. There's, you know, and some, also some broken jewelry, okay? So you can add these, you can make those and add them to like I did on here on this turtle one. So I added some wire wrap beads. Okay. And I did it on this one. So like I put like a little bird and a little, this came from a piece of jewelry and a button, and then the beads up here. And this was some of that, this is a piece of that sari silk that Jessica sent me. I love it. I love that red and blue together. Sorry. So you can use ribbon. You can use ribbon, you can use fabric scraps, you can use ticking, you know, just whatever you have, and paper clips and a few little beads and baubles, and you can just make some really cool stuff. So I hope that gives you some inspiration to drag out some of your supplies and play. You can also do, probably most of you have probably seen these paper clips too. And Tracy Fox did a tutorial on how to do these, and they're really cool. So you can do your little wire wrapping with this, and you know, put that on there. Do the paper clips like that. There's all kinds of paper clip embellishments that you can do. You could add these to the paper clip. You know, this kind of paper clip. This, whatever floats your boat. And these are some of the other paper clips I've made in the past. I don't know if some of you have seen them, but these were just some little fussy cut little critters that I cut out, put some fabric and a button, and they're really cute in kids' journals. You know, you could do the flowers, my rolled flower. I thought about taking some of them and putting them on a paper clip. You can make banners. You can take the fabric and make banners on them. I'm going to do something like that, I think, and I'll come back and show you. But, you know, you can take this little guy, put him on there, you know, and put a piece of fabric on the back. I think I showed this in my other video. And then put a button. That would be really, really cute. So, but anyway, I'm going to quit rambling now. I hope this was helpful. And thanks for stopping by and watching. And if you're not subbed to my channel, go ahead and sub if you like what you see. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. So if you hung out to the end of this video, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway. And I'm thinking of doing sort of like the box, but maybe half that size. I won't do the large box because that's kind of overwhelming, but probably a medium flat rate box full of supplies as a giveaway from my stash of my favorite things, and maybe a journal. I hadn't made up my mind yet, but I'm not quite there yet, but I'm planning it just in case I get there. Anyhow, thanks for stopping by and watching, and thank you to all of my subbies, and thank you for all your support. It's just been great. I never would have thought, you know, in a little over a year that I would have been able to share what I love and open an Etsy shop and do all that stuff. And I'm truly grateful and thankful for all of you. And I love you. And have a good evening, and I hope this was helpful. Let me know. Leave me comments. Love you guys. Bye.